All right, we're back again. Episode 7. Peace, King.
Peace, King. How we doing?
Man, we are great, man. We are.
Yes,
How
we
you
are.
doing?
Good, man. Good. Had a great weekend, man. Uh, Went up to Greensboro. We took all five of the Celtics teams up to Greensville. Our fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade that I coach, eighth
Okay.
grade, and ninth grade teams, and we got 3 out of 5s with the ships.
Okay. That's what's up, man.
Yeah,
So the Celtics invaded Greensboro.
yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. That teamwork tournament, man, it was a good tournament. We played the one down in Atlanta, and man, it was a good opportunity to see some different basketball in a different state against some different competition, man. And
Yeah.
we rose to the
We
occasion.
we played here locally. All matter of fact, all 4 of our teams were playing, and I'll tell you, one of my JV team, the ninth and 10th grade team that I actually coach, we did some real growing this week.
Good.
Um, our challenge had been in the past matching the other team's physicality and aggression.
Hmm.
This week, bruh, yesterday, and we made the championship of the silver division. In that
Okay.
championship game, bruh, look at here. You don't heard me say many times, we're gonna punch him in the mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boy, we punch him in the mouth. And you know what? The cool thing for me as a coach,
Okay.
and I always use this analogy with my players whenever I see something in them that they already have.
Okay.
Not many of them have watched The Wiz or The Wizard of Oz to
Mm.
the extent to know what the meaning of the story is.
Right.
Because if you
Right.
remember at the end,
Yeah.
the witch said, "Hey, everything you guys are looking for, you already had in you."
Already got it. Yep. It's
So
already
the
there.
aggression that my guys showed yesterday, they've been had it.
Right.
And I ask them, I'm like, "Don't y'all get tired of getting pushed around?" you know, and and
Right.
and and again, it's as a coach, it's real hard to undo all the years of home training where they were like, be nice, be polite, and you'd be like,
Yeah.
all right, listen, we can go to church after the game.
Yeah.
But during the game, I said this before. I need me some goddamn kids with some juvenile records. You know what I'm saying? I need some gunshot wounds, some goddamn knife wounds.
Yeah, man. Some
And,
guys
and,
gonna
and
go out there
as
and compete.
well as a coach, you can draw up X's and O's and you can do everything in the world except for inject that into an
Right.
athlete,
Right.
But
Right.
I will
Right.
tell you this, my guys, listen, I told them we lost the championship game, but I told them that I didn't look at the score. The score says we lost, but we won because they
Right.
grew so much.
Right.
And it's kind of I take now the attitude with that, like took with my kids in school. Once you show me that you can make an A in a subject, I'm not accepting a C.
That's right.
So
That's
now that
right.
I know my guys can be physical, we're not letting nobody push us around no more.
No, no, you
No,
shouldn't.
no,
No,
we're not.
no, no more pushing around. No more,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
reacting to after you get pushed into a corner. Come
yeah,
out
yeah.
swinging.
Yeah. Well, and you and I know, and I'm hoping that the people that are listening understand that we are not trying to teach people how to teach our kids how to fight or like fist fight or whatever. But we understand this: as an athlete, you have got to be aggressive. You've got to have that. And I don't want to use the term killer instinct, but man, you got to have it.
Gotta have it.
You got
Gotta
to
have
have
it.
it. You
And
got
it's
to have it.
competitive. I like to use the word competitive greatness.
Yeah.
That's John
Yes.
Wooden used that word. You
Yeah.
gotta have competitive greatness. You use the term match the other team's physicality. And
Right.
that's a
Right.
part of life. When you go into business or anything else, you
Right.
know, the workplace is going to call for a certain amount of non-skilled, non-taught, non-structured, just heart, soul, and will. And you got
Right.
to want to push past the status quo or the boundaries of the box to see
Yeah.
if you can do something that you know you've never done, and maybe the people that you're working with have never done. It's a great
Yeah.
experience. You do it.
Yeah.
Great
And
experience,
and
man.
so
Hey, beard is looking regal, man. That beard is looking good.
I
I gotta
appreciate
let
it, man.
mine grow, man.
I'll tell you this, and since you mentioned it, my plans were to, after my birthday back in February, was to shave it and kind of let my face, whatever.
Rest a little
But
bit.
yeah, but somebody we know like it, and I kind of give me some sugar
Yeah.
every now and then.
I was getting ready to say, I know Miss Ferris don't want you shaving.
Yeah, she likes to stroke my beard.
Oh man, this is a PG, man. Say
But
that
listen,
stuff
and
for
listen,
later.
listen.
This is a
I know
PG
it's
show. We
PG.
got kids.
Hey, that's why I kept it there. But hey, listen. Right
That's
before
awesome.
we were talking backstage, South Carolina High School League has come up with a new. Well, it's new to us, but
Right.
They have just approved the use of shot clock.
Mm.
And what they're going to do
All
first
time.
is, yeah, they're going to test it out in like invitationals, holiday invitationals or whatever, to kind of see how it works. But you and I were talking. Um, we this Even though they're doing it now, South Carolina
Right.
is still way behind a lot of other states in
Right.
reference to that.
Right.
Now you coach at Legacy, the games that you guys play. You guys use a shot clock. Is that for you,
Well,
especially for your national team, right?
yeah, well, for all national team especially, but it's interesting because sometimes we use local referees, and
Mm,
we've been told that they won't ref games with a shot clock.
wow.
Yeah,
They
we've
don't.
been
They
told
don't
that,
want that money.
hey, again, I'm not the AD. I don't arrange all those things, but
Mm,
I know conversation with the referees, some Greenville referees, and I'm not going to say any names. Was like,
mhm.
hey, no, we're not refing the game unless we can ref it without a shot clock, and that happened only one time. And
Ah,
BJ was like, our league, the NIBC, we play with shot clocks, so it does us no good playing in games where shot clocks aren't allowed. Now we do play in a Chick-fil-A class. At least we did last Christmas, and they didn't use. No, I think they did use a shot clock. If I'm not mistaken. Nope, they didn't use a shot clock because it was at
okay.
Ridgeview. They did a shot clock, but the game of basketball has evolved,
Yeah.
and I'm fortunate enough to have lived through some of the evolution of the
Hmm.
game.
Hmm.
My senior year in high school was the first year they played with the uh, modified or the 3-point line that cut through the top of the key.
Hmm.
And then my senior year, my freshman year in college, was when they actually used it in college. And that line was so short, we murdered it the first year. I mean, guys were shooting like 40 and 50% from the 3-point line. They was like, okay. So then they
Hmm.
moved it to the top of the key. And
Got
of
you.
course, we had the 45-second shot clock in college, which made it very fun from a coaching standpoint because people could milk the clock. You
Yeah.
want to get into the last 75% or last third of the shot clock before you execute your offense. So there was a lot of, not stalling, but
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
constructive patience,
Yeah. Yeah.
waiting for you to
Yeah.
fall asleep and offense and the flex and all
Yeah.
that stuff. And
Yeah.
then, of course, the NBA went from 30 seconds to 24 seconds. And so college dropped theirs down a few years later from 45 seconds to 35 seconds, and now it's 30 seconds. So high school wise and in other states, Washington, D.C., Virginia,
Yeah.
Georgia, they've had a shot clock for over 5 years, and we're still playing catch up as a state.
Yeah.
And I think that's a tragedy to our high school players, even though Morant, Zion Williamson,
Yeah.
Ray Allen, some other great players have butted out of Torrey Craig, who's playing right now,
Right.
um, have come from here. But just think about how more prepared they would be
Yeah.
uh, playing under that shot clock in high
Yeah.
school and in college.
Yeah, yeah, and I think as a coach, it also challenges you to really teach your team how to quickly get into the offensive set, recognize the scoring opportunity, and like you said, or if it's a situation where you want to run the clock down to 8 seconds before you get into your offense, it makes you more deliberate, you
Right,
know,
right.
and I'm just glad. I'm glad to see that. South Carolina is finally coming around. But yeah, we're behind, man. But
Yeah. Yeah.
we gonna make it do what it do.
Yeah, well, it also challenges you as a coach,
Mhm.
to understand how to use that shot clock.
Yep,
You hear in the NBA they often talk about 2-for-1 possessions.
yep.
When you're down to like 40 seconds in a game, do you want to try to get a shot real quick before it gets to 30 seconds,
Right,
or do you want to take your whole 30 seconds and now give the other team 10 where they get
right,
the last possession?
right,
So there's so
right,
many creative ways, and even with pressing, it changes the game.
right.
You definitely don't want to give up open layups and things like that. But it adds an element to the game that adds an uh, 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 it shows people that basketball players have to be intelligent, they have to be able to
Yes,
think quickly,
yeah,
feet, and it also challenges us as coaches to do things in practice other than just scrimmage.
right.
You got to
Oh
really
yeah.
work that clock.
Well, you've been around me. My players that know me now know that don't ever ask me, Coach, can we scrimmage? Because we're not gonna do that. Or if we do it, I like doing stop scrimmages where
Right,
if
control,
we're
right,
working on a particular part of the offense and
right,
then we go in transition, if we mess that part up, we got to stop and fix it.
right.
But we don't just run up and down the court because you ain't learning nothing if you do that.
Right.
If you're trying to say, or we'll do this, I call them just because I don't like the word scrimmage. I say, okay, listen, we're going to do some on court activities.
Okay.
And if we've been working on our offense, like backdoor cuts, I'll skew the scoring where if you score in a backdoor cut, it's 3 points.
Gotcha.
Because
That's
if you
good.
don't, all
Yeah.
they want to do is jack up threes, not
Right.
working on the part of the offense. So I'll flip the scoring. I'll be like, okay, 3 pointers are one. Regular shots are two, but if you hit them backdoor cut, that's three. And
Mm.
then when you put, I don't want to say a consequence, but when you put a consequence to the team that has the least amount of points at the end,
Right.
it forces them to use that backdoor cut at a very advantageous part of
Right.
the
Right.
activities.
That's
So
creative. Yeah. That's good.
yeah, I just don't like scrimmaging. To me, and this is just to me, and coaches, if you're out there listening, and if this is you, don't get your underwear in a bunch. But I feel that a coach that just scrimmages is lazy.
Mm.
And the reason I say that is unless you're actually teaching during that time, you're just watching the guys go up and down the court, man.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
just watching them go up and down the court.
Yeah.
And to me, you're just doing your team a disservice just by watching them run up and down the court. I won't do it.
Right. Right.
If coaches like to do it, I won't do it. But I'm sitting here watching the Boston Celtics and the Brooklyn Nets, and
Yeah, man. It's a tight game right now, and we're facing elimination for Brooklyn. And our own Nicholas Claxton.
yep.
I'm hoping and praying, man, that they can pull it out.
Let me ask you a question. What's wrong with KD, man?
Uh,
Something's wrong with him physically, man.
and again, I don't want to put it on Kyrie.
Yeah,
But KD's a bad player that plays with good teammates. And I heard something said before. I think it was said by Charles Barkley a couple of days ago on Inside the NBA.
mm-hmm.
And he says, when the last time they lost, he says you can either drive the bus or you're a bus rider.
That's right.
And he has no respect for anybody that's won a championship riding on somebody else's bus.
Come on, man. Hey,
And he hit KD between the eyes. And again, that's my homeboy, man. I
yeah,
love him. It's in the water.
yeah.
But has he won a championship on his own?
On
Or
his
did he
team,
have to link up with somebody to do it with?
yeah. Well, and I think we both will agree, talent wise, that's not an issue.
Right.
You mentioned pedigree earlier. Will anybody say that KD has that? He's not an alpha male. And
I wouldn't say he's not. I think he is.
well, here's how I'm going to show you why I think that he's not.
Okay.
when he was at OKC, when he had Westbrook and all those guys, that legitimately was his team.
Mm-hmm.
But he deferred in reference to the alpha male role to Russ. And I think that had KD really been like an alpha male, that team would have stayed together and we would be talking about OKC rather than maybe Golden State. Mm. And even if you look at when he went to Golden State, KD, when he went to Golden State, he was just like, all right, man, I'll chill with y'all. He ain't come and try to take over nothing or state. The only time he got peed off is when him and Draymond was going at it on the bench.
Right.
Other than that, he just came over and he was like, whatever. So I don't know. I have not seen the alpha male in him. And you know him better than I, but I haven't seen him.
Well, and let's remember, OKC came about because they took the Seattle Supersonics and moved him to Oklahoma. So he was there first. They drafted Russell Westbrook, and then they got James Harden. Mm-hmm. Now, KD is a basketball player. I'm going to let you do your thing. I'm going to do my thing.
Right.
But in the NBA, unfortunately, there's a component that we don't control called free agency.
Yeah.
So free agency has a lot more to do with it than just, I'm getting paid this year. It has a lot to do with how much money you're making based on your incentives as well. And unfortunately, there's a game that the agents play and the coaches play and the management play with different situations, different times, how they market a player. There's so many fashions that go into it off the floor, man, that, I wouldn't call either one of he or Russell non-alpha males. I think they both are. I think they were just put in a tough situation because, you got a kid like James Harden who was coming into his own.
Yeah.
That was having some success that the team was using him to divide them to. And it's like you're creating such a friction in your own team that ain't healthy because you had two guys that, I'd rather win than take all the shots.
Well, I just don't. When I look at the alpha male thing, I just don't see a situation in any of the teams that he's been on where he's just taken control. Even like on Brooklyn. All right, Kyrie convinced him to come over. Is what this story is. Okay, Kyrie convinces him to come over. Kyrie does his COVID thing. Okay, so that leaves KD as being the guy on the floor. Even when Kyrie was doing the COVID thing, just didn't see KD just take the rest of the guys and say, listen, man, we ain't gonna trip on Harden, we ain't gonna trip on Simmons, we ain't gonna trip on whatever. We just, you know what I mean? Right. So we, like I said, we know that dude will he's an automatic bucket. Yeah. He just really is. He's also, unfortunately for him, as far as social media is concerned, he's a troll.
Yeah.
He likes to troll, but I just think that his legacy is always going to be that he has been the bus rider, not the bus driver.
Yeah. Well, and the same could be said for LeBron. That's my guy. LBJ's my guy. The only way they won't say it is when he went back to Cleveland the second time.
Yeah.
But again, even the first time he was there, he made his final appearances. He got him to the Eastern Conference Final. They just couldn't get over the hump because, again, the people that were in place to help him, they fired. Danny Ferry, Michael Brown. They got rid of the guys that were putting together the nucleus of what LeBron wanted, so he felt betrayed and moved on.
Well, check this out, though. When he went to Miami, man, D-Wade moved over.
Yeah, he did.
D-Wade moved over.
Yeah, he did. He gave him the keys now.
I just think that.
He gave him the captain's hat and everything.
Huh?
He gave him the captain's hat. He said, hey,
Well, see,
I'm going to ride with you.
Even if you look at what he's done in L.A., even though what I'll say about the L.A. situation, for all the credit that he gets for the bubble championship, he got to catch the smoke for this team right here. Yeah. Because he put together this team, and Magic Johnson has even came out and said, hey, look, man, we had the DeRozan ready to come.
Yeah.
But they he said, but they wanted Westbrook. So
you had DeMar DeRozan with this team.
Man, look at here, man. And see, Magic even laid it out. He was like, look, you're exactly right. And see, I like Westbrook in this sense. I like that he plays hard all the time,
Right.
but I am so glad that he's not a New York Knick. Oh man, yeah. I'm
Well,
glad, man.
let's talk about how Westbrook's style of basketball.
Okay.
He's the guy in a pickup game that the game is tied, you want to give him the ball then.
Yeah.
But you don't play like that for all 11 points.
Hey, coach. He plays like a kid that we know, except for the scoring part.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
remember a kid that we had, Nick Butler?
Oh, yeah.
Nick Butler gonna play hard all the time.
Yes, he was.
Hey,
Yes,
Nick Butler come off the free throw line, just
Yeah.
you know.
Yes, he
And
would.
so Russ does not have a rest mode. Russ
Right.
gonna give it. He gonna give it to you. But
No gears.
yeah. Ooh, you watching the game?
I am. I'm peeking at it.
Oh,
109
listen.
and 106.
Hey,
2
you
minutes
guys
to go.
that are watching us live, a few minutes ago, Boston was blowing Brooklyn out the frame, but right now it's 109, 106, 2 minutes left in the fourth. Even though Brooklyn gonna go home, they may not go home tonight.
Interesting. And now Kyrie
Hey,
is
and
now
the
Kyrie is
hometown
in his
guy,
bag.
and the hometown guy, Nick has been doing okay.
He's had a great game. Other than his free throw
Yeah.
shooting, he's had a great game tonight. Now, unfortunately, now they need him in the game,
Yeah.
and they don't have him in the game. I don't understand that. You need
Well,
a shot
well, now-
blocker. You got a veteran Blake Griffin in the game. I get it.
Right.
For
Right.
free throw purposes, because again, Nick 1 for 11 right now, I think,
Yeah.
or 1 for 12.
Yeah.
You know, he struggled from the free throw line, and Nick is a very good shooter. I think it's just mental. You know, first
I was
time
gonna
on this
say,
type of
listen,
stage.
Coach. I'm
He's a
glad
very
you
good
said
shooter.
that. I'm glad you, because here's what I was gonna say, and I didn't want it to sound like a criticism. It's an observation.
Yeah.
For him to really compliment that team fully, he got to take them shots. He got to take them shots. He got to, especially free throw line and below, the little elbow jumpers and stuff like that. He got to take those shots. Now, most of his points have been dunks or pick and rolls or whatever, which is all well and good. But for him to stretch out that defense a little bit, that to me, that's a part of his game. If you're saying that he has it in his golf bag, I'd like to see him. I'd like to see him swing that club, because he's gotta be, because we know that the deep ball, that team has the deep ball covered.
6 and 9.
Ooh, but he's gotta, you know. So as you speak with him in the off season or whatever, just encourage him, man, to reach into that bag, man. He boop. There goes the easy money sniper right there, bro.
Yeah.
KD just hit the bucket, going to the basket. It's a 1-point lead by Boston.
Yep.
But so yeah, he's got to be able to do that.
But think about it like this, from the standpoint of what KD is their shot guy.
Yeah.
They need, and Nick's role right now is the dunk box, short roll, and finishing. So
and he attacks.
Well, the thing is, you know, he's put himself into a position where he's shown his coachability, he's shown his adaptivity to whatever situation they have, and he'll be able to expand it in years to come. Right now, you know, it's getting to that next contract and just showing your marketability and your value to teams, and he's going to be able to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
y'all.
A great job in doing.
Hey, please forgive me for what I'm getting ready to say. I'm sitting up here looking at the basketball game, and they just zoomed in on the top of KD's head. NBA, TNT, TBS, don't do that no more. The top of his head look like some goddamn black eyed peas, man. Don't do that no more. Listen, I'm about to turn my TV off, man. Shave it off, KD.
It's 38 seconds to go. 7 on the shot clock. It's a 3-point.
He got the ball. Easy money sniper got the ball. Look at him. Ooh, he bounced off.
Yeah, he missed. I'm a little bit ahead of you, Stan.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. I ain't gonna tell you.
Okay.
I'm ahead of you. I ain't gonna tell you because right now it's 32 seconds to go. 3.5 on the shot clock. Boston is up 3. Ball underneath the basket. You got Blake Griffin in the game. That's crazy. But you know what, Coach? When we think about Marty players in the playoffs and what
Mhm.
defines a superstar's legacy
Yeah.
is situations where they found themselves in some adversity and they've had to work through it.
Yeah.
Um, KD's never really found himself in any adversity until he got hurt
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
when he tore the ACL. I mean, tore
Yeah.
the Achilles, and
Yeah.
he had to come back from that. So when you ask what's wrong with him,
Yeah.
he had an injury that most people don't come back and play at this level on. But he's done a very yeoman or professional job in being professional and still going out handling his business with a
Right.
lot of adversity. And
Right.
Marcus Smart just probably made one of the rookiest mistakes you could possibly make, as you'll see shortly, to put Katie on the line. But they get the last possession with a 1 point lead if he makes both free throws.
Mm.
But that's a huge risk to take.
Yeah.
It's a
And
huge risk to take.
let's do. Can we do something? Can we jump back to AAU basketball for just a second?
Yeah, man.
Listen again. We talked about this a little bit last week, Coach, but I need to talk to the tournament directors out there, please, for a moment, please, sir, ma'am, coach, whatever. Please
Uh-oh.
be please be considerate of these parents as you are gathering the price for admission.
Ooh.
Um, there was a tournament somewhere in America this weekend that was a 3-day tournament, and they charged different prices for each day and did not even create a weekend pass.
It's the new
And
trend.
whoop, here's what I'll say. I know you're trying to make your money. I get it. I seriously get it. But I'm going to speak to you as a director of an AAU organization. I would much rather pay a little bit higher entry fee for my teams to get in if my parents can be spared a little bit on the admission.
Mm.
So that means that even if you got to go from, I don't know, 225 to, I don't know, 250 or whatever, I'd rather pay that on the entry fee. Because here's what I do know, and we talked about this last week. If you're having a tournament and you got any 14 and unders and below on that tournament, their parents are going to be there the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Their parents are going to be there the whole weekend. Now, the big boys may or may not, especially 16 and under. Most of those dudes drive to the game, may or may not.
Right.
But those 14 and unders,
Right.
their parents are going to be there. And if you hit them with $15 on Friday, $20 on Saturday, and then $15 on Sunday, instead of just creating a weekend pass, you're making it hard for the parent to fully support that child.
Yeah.
And they're already paying. Listen, especially now, we're lucky because the tournament that I'm speaking of was it was in America, but we didn't have to travel to go. So had it been where we had to travel to go and pay hotel and all that, and then you get hit over the head with the admission fee like that. So again, listen, you guys that know me know that I really, really do try to support a lot of our local tournaments here with our teams, but I also have a responsibility to my parents.
Yeah.
There was a tournament that we declined to go to this weekend. Oh, see you later, Boston. I mean, see you later, Brooklyn. That we declined to go to because here's what they did to us, Coach Mike. They scheduled us Saturday morning, 8 o'clock at Relentless. Okay. Then we had an 11 o'clock game in Westminster. Then we had a 2 o'clock game, same team, 2 o'clock game in Greer. Same day, same team.
Wow.
I personally, and this is no exaggeration, I drove over 80 miles for a local tournament that weekend.
Wow.
So here's kind of how I fixed that. I reached out to the people that were in charge of the tournament. I said, listen, what's going on with that? And of course, they gave me the little song and dance. Hey, we had a lot of teams at the last minute, blah blah whatever. And so they had a tournament this past weekend, and they reached out to me. They said, hey, are you going to bring your teams? And I said, no. I said, because I owe it to my parents not to be stretched out all. And listen, if we want to play travel, if we want to travel, we're gonna travel. But don't sit up there and run us all over the world because you guys are not good at scheduling. So tournament directors, get your money how you can. I will tell you that if you want people to continually to support your events, you gotta be conscious of the parents. You got to be conscious of the teams and the scheduling, because there are a lot of options out there as far as tournaments are concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And
Very
I'm
true.
gonna tell you something, Coach Mike. They keep messing around, they're gonna make SC Phenoms put on some tournaments here for real. And that's no joke. And like I said, it's no shade or cap to anyone, but I just don't like seeing my parents. Because give me an example. If you've got a family of, not including the athlete, but if you got a family of 4, 2 teenage kids, the mom and the dad, and they all want to come and see Junior at that tournament that weekend, that family is going to spend probably $300 to watch their kid play. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's really crazy. Yeah. So we got to do better. Tournament directors, we got to do better.
Well, and just to kind of give you my take on it, that's a great point. It's like with anything else that we're involved in, we have the power to decide whether we're going to go or not.
Oh, sure.
And I get it. I personally, I'm going to take you back a little bit. I got criticized a long time ago because I said I hate AAU basketball. I don't want my high school kids playing AAU basketball. People's like, what do you mean? Why they gotta play? Is it necessary? And I'm always going to say this. There's only 1% of the kids that coaches care about. The scouts, 1%. And those kids are playing with some attached shoe brand. Now, all the rest of us, we're coaching for the love of the game. And it's so great to see the nationals and all these different people wanting these different tournaments. But, for what we're trying to do with the kids, and I applaud Shammond Williams for what we do at the Celtics and what he started with us is what we're trying to do every year. And you say this, we're playing for scholarships, not championships.
That's right.
We're trying to make sure that we get better from where we started. Right. We keep in mind that 95% of our kids want to make their local school team, whether that's middle school, whether that's high school. So our job is to try to work with the coaches of the kids that we're coaching to improve on those skills that's going to help them be manageable, contributing members of that team next year. And for the 1% that get to go to college and play, well, they'll just be the better for it. And that's the joy I get in coaching at this level and that at the other. Now, I've been affiliated with Nike's EYBL since the conception of it, and I've had an opportunity to coach EYBL, and that's a whole nother monster. The interesting thing about that monster, the price is the same. When I say the same,
right.
There's a weekend pass, and then there's a fee you can pay daily, and they don't change it because they're not in it to make the money that way. Yeah. They make the money another way. Now, these local guys, I totally get it. The cost of cleanup, the cost of venues has gone up. The different things that they have to do, I totally get it. But when you pull up to a venue and you recognize that it's a $30 a day entry fee, like we ran into that situation not too long ago in another state, or you pull up to a place, the parking lot's packed, there's a auxiliary parking lot, and then you hear an announcement coming over the thing like, if you're parked in this auxiliary parking lot, you got to come and get your car because they're towing them. It's like, wait a second. Yeah, this is your auxiliary parking lot. Now you're going to tow our cars?
Yeah.
Like, when do we as parents creatively understand that in order for our kids to get better, yes, it's necessary they play, but is it necessary that we use our vacation with playing? And again, we talked about it last week. Kid Gilchrist's mom, Cindy, said, listen, you got 4 tournaments for my son. That starts we get out of school in June.
Mm-hmm.
From June to August, you got 4 tournaments.
Yeah.
You choose the ones you want to play in.
Yeah.
That's all he's playing in.
Yeah. Let me jump back to something that you just said in reference to the expenses for tournaments. You're like the cleanup costs and all that stuff. Here's how I think that tournament directors, and for the most part, you see them doing it a little bit. When I first started, we had something that we did with our parents that was called sweat equity. Where a parent could pretty much work off portions of their registration by working the clock, by working the gate, by running concessions, by cleaning up afterwards. That way, you don't have, as a tournament director, you don't got to come out of your pocket for that, or you don't have to pay teenagers to run and work the clock, because you should, within your organization, it's there are opportunities for your parents and your families to work that stuff off.
Right.
But I think, because I can say this without any kind of hesitation, because I've sat on both sides of the desk. I've sat on the running tournament side, and I've definitely sat on the going to tournament side. I know that you direct the cost however you want them to be. I know that. When you sit down and you go, okay, we're going to do a tournament this weekend. We want to have 50 teams. We're going to set the entry fee at $175, $225, or whatever. I know how to do the math on that, because the gyms and the referees are not even going to eat up any of that money right there. So then you don't have to hit the parent over the head with saying, okay, the admission is going to be Friday night, $10. Saturday, since it's a day, this is what they try to say. Since Saturday is a long day, we're going to do $15 or $20. And then on Sunday, we'll knock it back down to $10. No, man, that's crazy, man. That's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
So I'm going to get off of that. But tournament directors, listen, we got to do better. We got to take care of our families, our people. We just got to do better, Let's see. We had a couple of guests that are scheduled, and I don't want to mention either one of them, because I know one of the athlete we're gonna have on next week. I've been in touch with his folks today. There was a school function that kept him from being here, so we will have him next week, and I'm excited about that. Also, Coach, you remember the young lady that we interviewed, that the track athlete, Dior Dumas?
Yes.
I'm going tomorrow and Wednesday. The Greenville County track meet is going to be at Eastside High School. So I'll be out there tomorrow. I've got to track down Miss Dumas. I've got a gift for her for appearing on our podcast. But I'm also, you know this, I'm a real big track and field fan. So I definitely want to go out there and see some track and field.
That's going to be awesome, man. That's really going to be awesome. I'll tell you, you work with some outstanding track athletes over the years, and dual sport athletes. Your son was an amazing track athlete himself. Your daughter was an amazing track athlete, which we share in common, which your cousin's my oldest daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And you've had a chance to see her career. Why don't right? Why don't we see more dual sport athletes like that? Because Shy excelled in basketball and track. Tyler excelled in basketball and track. But now we're just seeing kids. And you know what? And I'm not going to say it's because we're trying to get them away from – we're trying to specialize them. You know what I'm going to tell you? I'm going to tell you the truth. These kids are lazy. These kids are lazy. 100%, they're just lazy. They don't want to do the work of having been committed. Because, again, this little thing right here, it controls their life. This right here, This is crack. This is the new crack.
Yeah, yeah,
This is the new drug, the new alcohol, whatever you want to call it.
yeah, yeah,
It is destroying our children and our lives. Let's not just put it on our kids.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
destroying our lives in a way that it's losing ourselves and our abilities to think, imagine, dream, plan, process, struggle, fail, and get back up and do it again.
Hold on 1 second, man. We got somebody that we know. Jay
Oh, my boy
Jay
Jay
Whistle.
West.
Jay
What up,
West.
Jay?
Listen, man. You know. Hey, I know him since he was a little rooter to the tutor.
Boy,
Jay
come
Whistle.
on. I was looking at videos of me and Jay's workouts over at First Baptist. Just the
Wake
other
up,
day, I got
Mr.
them
West.
saved to my hard drive. What's up? What's up, Jay West? How you doing, man?
Wake up, Mr. West, Mr. West, Mr. West.
Tell your
Yeah, no,
parents, man, give them our love.
yeah. Jay was another high school athlete. This kid could play some basketball, man.
And he wasn't
Play
lazy. He didn't mind working.
No, Jay would work, man. Jay would put in that work. He could really play, man. Um, but you're right, man. Right now, it's just a little difference. All right, yeah. Hey, man, we love you too, man. Thank you for just chiming in and letting us know that you're out there. We definitely appreciate it. Um, but you know, uh, what we have to do is, man, and again, I keep saying we can't inject work ethic into these kids, but um, I'm hoping that tide will change back, man,
Yeah.
where they really get because I'll give you an example. The athlete that we're going to have on next week, um, he is one of the hardest working kids that I know as far as on the basketball court. He
Yeah.
works his butt off. And see, I don't know why the kids don't understand this. All the kids that are the Justin Baileys and all those dudes that have the success, those are the guys that work hard.
Yeah.
So why can't they say, see, well, if Justin works hard, Justin Bailey works hard, or these other kids work hard, but no, man, they I'll tell you, they rather watch YouTube stars.
Right.
They rather watch uh man, my grandkids were over here a couple of weeks ago, and we were watching some YouTube stars. I'm in the wrong business, man. They got this YouTube dude. I want to say his name might be like Mr. Beast or something like this. This dude makes over $30 million a year,
Wow.
and he's just a YouTuber.
Wow.
I'm in the wrong
Wow.
business.
Hey, listen, I applaud those guys for being able to make their niche where they're making it. But when we go back to the human that we work with, you
Yeah,
know, I
I
think
need
we've
a, I
got to
need an
find
OnlyFans.
huh?
I need an OnlyFans. I need
Fair.
something.
Listen. I am this. These are not the views of his co-host by any means.
I
Don't
need
get me started.
something.
Don't do my favorite. Michael, what are you influencing? No, that's Stan talking about his OnlyFans page. But we need those people. We need to become people, older people that are on confrontation. I
Yeah,
get it. There are parents that's going to jump on us for jumping on their kid. So
yeah,
what? I'm not going to
yeah,
put my hands on nobody's kid. I'm not going to cuss nobody. But I'm going to tell a kid if they're wrong. I'm going to tell
yeah.
a kid constructively, hey, you got to move yourself back into this right position. I think Jay West got a question for us.
He got a question. He says, "Hey, I got one quick question. What's y'all opinion on all the switching screens at all levels?" Coach, I'm gonna let you go ahead and
Lazy,
handle
lazy, flat out lazy. Now, there are people that do things called dying on a screen, Jay.
it.
That's when you come to a screen and you just lean on it as opposed to trying to kick over or sprint around to show up on the other side. Personnel, it's all about matchups. If you're playing a point guard like Rajon Rondo, you don't want to go over top of a screen. You don't ever want to go over top of a screen because he wants you to get hung up so he can drive. If
Mhm.
Rajon Rondo is setting the screen and is big to big, our five guy and his five guy that are setting the screen, we don't miss that because he's going to annihilate that big. Now, with the no defense rule, because now the defense is in the paint and you can overhelp without being in a certain distance of your man, changes the whole thing. So now schematically, people can load the box, put a
Mm,
person on the elbow, a person on the box, person on the other elbow, and they're going to dot in and out for 2.5 to make sure they're showing help in case you got a Rondo type of guy coming through. Now, I still think it's a bailout when you switch screens premature.
mm,
There's another thing that you'll hear NBA term talking about. They're going to oh my God, I can't believe it's slipping my mind right now. But we're gonna sag off the screen. Like
mm.
we're gonna do drop coverage.
Right.
So like you're watching this game right now in Utah, they're not gonna bring Jokic out of that paint. He's
Right.
gonna sit on that screen. Rudy Boogerel, I mean not Rudy Boogerel, but
Gobert.
Gobert, Antoine Gobert. His dad's name was Rudy Boogerel, played against me at Mariners. But Antoine Gobert, he ain't gonna hedge the screen. He's gonna
Mm.
sit in the paint. Now it's gonna cost him when you got Mike Conley coming off that screen popping threes. So, in my opinion, I gave you a long drawn out version, Jay, but I think it's lazy. But you
Yeah.
also have to understand your matchups and how to deal with that.
Yeah. I agree, Coach, that I don't know if many players are committing and taking pride in being defensive stoppers.
Agreed.
I don't
Agreed.
want I don't want I don't want you to switch. That's my man.
Right.
I'm gonna stop him.
That's why you only got one Patrick Beverly in the league right now.
And you know what? He has made his career being that dog.
Yeah. Well, I
If
got to give
you
Marcus Smart credit too.
yeah, yeah,
Marcus Smart is doing the same thing.
yeah. Well, if you look at the schedule and you see that you got to lace up against Pat Bev, oh bro, you got to eat your Wheaties because you know.
Yeah. You're
And
going
and
to bed
and,
early
and,
that night.
and listen, the dangerous thing about Pat Bev is that not only will he lock down D, but if you want to do something else, he'll throw them paws.
Yeah, he'll shoot him. He'll shoot him at you now. He ain't, hey,
Listen,
and he'll score that basketball too.
yes, he will. He bet on himself and it's really paying off. Uh,
Yeah.
this time next week, Coach, I will be coming in from New York.
Oh, that's right. You're going up the ride.
I'm leaving Friday. I'm riding in the TD Bank 5 borough tour. Uh,
Wow.
here's my little bib, and what
That's
it is it's a bike ride that we get to ride through the 5 boroughs. Uh, we go through Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, Harlem. We go over the Brooklyn Bridge and all that stuff. It's actually a 40-mile ride, and
wow.
those of you the guys
Borough.
that know me know I've as far as distance is concerned, I've ridden over 40 miles before. I'm excited about just going to see the sights, man. I want to be able to say I rode over the Brooklyn Bridge, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna be incredible.
Yeah, and
It's
the
gonna be
weather,
incredible.
the weather is nice. So when we come back next week, I'm gonna definitely let everybody know how that was. I'm sure I'll have some picks, but I'm really excited about going to New York and riding in the TD Bank 5 boroughs bike tour.
Listen, they should have been giving you a sponsorship because you've been practicing
Yeah,
prior to now in the TD Bank Center around that Millennium over here. That's been
every
your
morning.
practice track.
Hey, every morning we will be riding it. Hey, listen, man, I bumped into our old riding mate, referee Harvey.
Did you? How's
And
he
you know the
doing?
first thing he said was, yeah, man, I'm getting ready to get back out there on that bike. And Harvey, if you're listening, no such a thing. You know you ain't about to get out there.
Harvey, man, we gotta meet Coach Stan out there.
Yeah,
I got some
listen.
time in the morning. I'm ready to lace him up, Stan.
All right, well, listen, y'all know how I am. We just ride. We ain't
No,
trying to race or nothing like that. I
listen,
like the fellowship, and I like seeing the brothers out there just chilling.
yeah,
And also I like seeing the health benefits that it gives you.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
that to me. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. Are you riding in the morning?
I'm not riding tomorrow morning. What I had planned on doing was, because this is the week of the actual ride, was to take it light, take it. But now what we can do, and we'll even touch out with Harvey and anybody else that wants to ride. I'll be back in town. We're leaving Monday, so we can start next Tuesday and just ride on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Sounds
So
like
listen, if you're listening and you want to come and get you some, meet us at Whole Foods on Woodruff Road.
That's right.
At 5 o'clock on next Tuesday. We're gonna ride a little bit. Honestly, what we ride is 12 miles. 2 loops is 12 miles. 13 miles.
Yeah, 13 miles.
And honestly, we're not speed riding. I think it takes us about an hour.
About 50 minutes, 45 minutes.
Yeah, and so we get finished at 6 o'clock. You can come home, throw some water up under your arms, and
That's right.
You got your day ahead, and and listen, I'll post on my Facebook page. You guys really do want to come out and ride. It's not, we welcome the company, and just come out and ride with us.
Yeah,
Coach.
Hey, before you sign off, man, man's hat you got on. Have you heard his new song?
I have not. I got his brother's album though. His brother just dropped a project 2 days ago. I haven't heard Chance's. Is it just Chance?
Man, listen. I'm a Chance fan. It's called Child of God. Oh,
really?
Man, listen. I was gonna play you.
And you know what? Coach, it just dropped today.
I listened to it last week, and I can't tell you how, but I listened to it.
Okay, listen. Well, I'm definitely listen. As soon as we sign off here, I'm gonna go ahead and yes, I'm a super duper Chance the Rapper fan. I've gone to see him in concert, and he does. His show is incredible, especially the Coloring Book Tour. Anybody that went to see him on the Coloring Book Tour, you already know that show was incredible. But Chance is awesome. I will
Check
be out
that video.
Okay, listen. I'm gonna do it. I will be out at Eastside tomorrow, checking out the athletes. I'm gonna have some. Student athlete gear, and thanks to our big ups to Antoine Henderson and Christian Raw Henderson. They are the proprietors of studentathleteshop.com. So I'm going to have some gear that we're going to be giving out tomorrow, taking some pictures with some athletes, and just really soaking in some good track and field. The weather's going to be great. It's going to be beautiful out there. Coach, what you got on your feet, bro?
Well, things, the way that we're doing. So I'm bringing these up from the bottom.
Okay.
Just the LeBron taxis, man. Just
y'all see him showing out America.
Just a little LeBron taxis, man.
Oh,
a little something light today, Since I had on the LBJ King James shirt, I went on through the taxis. R.I.P. to my man. He didn't make the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
Not even a playing game.
Y'all see how he's showing out on me, America. But check this out, Coach. I'm gonna tell you, and listen. This is the truth. I really am slumming today. I got on the dog. Listen, this is really what I got on my feet. I got on the dog Adidas Crocs, bro. That's what I got on my feet.
That boy got the widgets for the daggone.
Hey.
Oh man, the comfy shoes.
Hey, look, I got my dog Tupac pin. I got my Biggie pin.
Look at him.
Yeah.
Man, I didn't even know they made shoes like that. Yeah. Boy, look at him.
Yeah,
with the 3 stripes on the side. I see.
Yeah, there go my Biggie, baby. So that's what I got on.
Coach said he's slumming today, just being cool and collected.
Let my dogs rest a little bit. This has been a really good time. Brooklyn, we'll see y'all next year. You know what? I can't even trip because my guys ain't even sniffed the playoffs, so I can't.
Look, me and you both. Me
I
and you both.
I can trip.
We should have put our fishing hats on.
Yes,
Throw the
gone
rods
fishing.
out there. They going fishing.
Wow. Well, listen,
Oh,
Jay
man.
West, thank you for chiming in and giving us a question. For those of you that have watched, we appreciate it. For those of you that have been watching after the podcast goes off, that's fine. Last week, I looked at it the next day, and I think overnight we were like 600 views, and we appreciate it. Again, if there's any content or questions or anything that you guys want us to discuss, if you look on the crawl there at the very end, you'll see our email address, and that's versus the podcast 2424 at gmail.com. That's versus the podcast Kobe
Kobe.
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 All right. 2424 at gmail.com. Listen, we're not going to tell you that we are experts, but pretty much, especially when it comes to high school ball or travel ball, if we don't know it, we definitely know where to find the answer to. And I think next week, or maybe in the upcoming weeks, we're going to talk about how to find the proper travel team for your athlete.
Yeah.
You know, and I purposely wanted to wait until after a travel season has started, so that people wouldn't say that we are politicking or trying to recruit players. But we just want to let you parents and athletes know, as Coach Mike said earlier, there are different purposes for this thing called travel ball. And we're going to talk to you about how to find the best situation that fits what your child needs. And so if you got any questions or anything about that, let us know. Again, it's been an awesome, as always, in signing off. Peace, King.
Peace, King.
All right. Thank y'all, man. We'll check y'all later on. Have a great one.